Hey, it's Zave. They got me. It has finally happened. I have officially been converted into a Kuro-Bot. Kuro's my favorite corporation, and they can do no wrong. Wuthering Waves is the peak of gaming. Better narrative and character writing than Disco Elysium. Better gameplay mechanics than Baldur's Gate 3. Better exploration and world building than Cyberpunk 2077. It's the perfect game. Let me stop before someone takes me seriously. There are three categories I want to get into when discussing this 2.4 update for Wuthering Waves: the presentation, the narrative, and the gameplay. But let's start with the presentation. Honestly, it's been phenomenal this patch. One thing I always say is that I think these games should have more animated cutscenes. When you get to the level of success of making millions upon millions of dollars in profit every single month, you should be offering a premium experience. And they do offer a premium experience, but there's definitely more that they could be doing. It's a criticism I've had of HSR, Z3, and now WUWA. These companies have the resources necessary to do it, they just choose not to, and that'll always be a pain point for me. With that being said, everything else was stunning. Kuro seems to understand how important it is for the talking portions of the story to not be stagnant, so they make sure to have characters moving around a lot, making different facial expressions and having various camera angles, changing locales, and not hampering on a single point for too long. Since this is an all new area, there was quite a bit of exposition for the sake of explaining new concepts to us, but they probably could have shown us a little bit more when it came to explaining who characters and titles are and whatnot. But that is alleviated a little bit because whenever something is referenced, we are later shown that thing. For example, when we are told about Mia and her past and her history with the place, we are then shown her situation directly. When we are told of Augusta and told about her legendary status, we then witness that live and meet her in person. When we are told of the legendary protector Echo that everyone in Septimont loves, we eventually meet that Echo, and as part of the update we also fight it, so we get to see it in action. Every piece of information we're given is aided by an eventual visual reveal or explanation, and that is really satisfying. One of the most frustrating things is when a game will tell us about a bunch of cool stuff and never actually show us any of it, so I'm glad they avoided that. The cutscenes were also so goddamn good. Every single shot with Kartathea was peak. Lupa had so many badass moments and character shots. In fact, Lupa was actually the main character here, which is a nice change of pace. I just wish we had more cutscenes, or that the existing ones were longer. And that one cutscene showing the parallel of Rover and Kartathea, genuinely jaw-dropping. It's the best cutscene in the whole game. It looks so good. So the presentation of the narrative and the story was good, but what about the presentation of the new area? Again, stunning job. I get the feeling that the devs are real gamers, because this zone, from the enemies to the music to the structure of the world itself, feels like it was inspired by Final Fantasy, specifically Tactics, and Assassin's Creed. Wait, you're kidding me. No, they did the thing. They did the leap of faith with the eagle crying, and you jump off the thing, you jump off the building. The way that you can feel the inspirations bleed through this game, the references and whatnot, it's such a good feeling. It feels like you're really playing a game made by other gamers, and that in this climate is really, really refreshing. The world is beautiful, the cities feel alive with tons of stuff going on, and the outside areas are even more alive. The enemies aren't just standing around waiting for you to show up, they're doing stuff. You can find warriors hunting tacit discords or fighting with other warriors, monsters patrolling their territories, people setting up camps in the wilderness, and so much more. I was genuinely surprised at how much was going on in the open world, so the presentation as a whole gets a pass for me. Let's slide on over to the narrative. The narrative was also pretty well done. I went in with no expectations really, I just wanted more of Kartathea. So let's briefly go over it. We long for our baby girl, so we decide to go check on her, but she's not at the usual spot, so we hit up our other wife, our mistress, Cantarella, for some info. It seems our perfect sugar plum went to some area called Septimont, another city within the region of Renacita, but they are very different. One thing I love is the dichotomy of the cultures of Ragusa and Septimont. Ragusa was a very religious city. The church is hand in hand, or even the same entity as the government, even serving capital punishment based on religious beliefs. There's clear corruption afoot, and they will hand wave any type of behavior if it's done within the interest of the church or the sentinel they worship. They also live side by side with echoes, which is common in Renacita, but in Ragusa, they use echoes for everyday use. Cooking, store employees, transportation, stuff like that. But Septimont is different, not only in their echo usage, but in their culture as well. A lot of Septimont's residents don't worship the sentinel. They would rather build statues and give praise to heroes. People who have shown extraordinary strength and resilience in the face of adversity are much more worthy of praise than an all-powerful but out of touch, godlike figure to them. And I really like that direction. Everything is dictated by strength. Only the strongest and most capable may lead. Their echo usage reflects that too. Instead of using their echoes for everyday use like Raguna's citizens, Septimon's citizens use echoes like Pokemon. They raise them, train them, hunt with them, and fight with them. When you encounter a warrior of Septimon, first thing they do is summon their echo to fight alongside them. You can find warriors fighting alongside their echoes, sleeping alongside their echoes, training their echoes, and much more all over the place. It heavily enhances the world building and it helps set apart this new area from the previous ones. But back to the narrative. Our sweet glazed honey bun went to Septimon, so we use our inherent connection to her to track her down. We start getting visions of her. She is here, but this place seems different than what she's experiencing. Almost like she's experiencing a different version of events than we are, despite being in the same exact place. We are then introduced to Lupa, one of my favorite designs in all of Wuthering Waves. She is strong, straightforward, honest, and quite energetic. We get a hint of Karthathia's frequency on Lupa, but Lupa claims she has no idea who Karthathia is. Lupa wants our help with something. We decide to stick around and help her out in hopes of getting more clues about where our flawless diamond is. Fast forward a bit and we learn that Lupa appears to be the catalyst for some type of calamity. I always have a hard time saying her name. Frolova, I think it's Frolova. Frolova tells us that we can avoid the calamity by killing Lupa, but obviously that's not an option. So we need to figure out why Lupa is so important and how we can avoid this calamity. At the same time, we seem to be experiencing an altered version of events every now and then, a much darker and more gloomy version of Septimon that Karthathia seems to be experiencing, and that parallel is being shown. That's where the story ends for now. We aren't giving an exact answer yet as to what's going on, whether it's a time traveling thing, parallel worlds thing, or a history repeating itself thing, but I am extremely interested in figuring out what the hell is going on. There are other things to dig into as well, like the whole connection between Mia and Lupa, or the script that Flova keeps going on about, or how Karthathia and Lupa even ended up fighting. But one thing is for sure, they did an immaculate setup and I really hope they stick the landing with the payoff. That's all on the narrative though. Let's finally get into the gameplay. Gameplay has always been one of Wuthering Waves' strongest points for me. Exploration and combat are the main methods of gameplay, since this is an open world action game, and they nailed it once again with this update. Now, I've said in the past that as long as they make beautiful areas with stuff to do and keep the flying implemented along them all, they will nail exploration every time. And this was no different. Septimon is absolutely gorgeous to explore, and as I said earlier, the enemies make the world feel alive, and as usual, since 2.0, there's tons of activities to do around the world, so exploring feels dynamic and rewarding. So the exploration is good, but what about the combat? They nailed this too. I'm going to make a bold statement here. As someone who's played gachas for over a decade, I will say confidently that Karthathia is the most fun and satisfying character in any gacha game ever. Her animations are the perfect mix of graceful and fierce. The sound design on her attacks and abilities is god tier. She's extremely effective in combat, being strong in single target and AoE DPS with crazy grouping abilities and utility. Her design is amazing. My only critique with her is that I wish she had maybe an alternate skin or something where she's wearing an actual more traditional suit of knight armor. I understand that she's supposed to be the blessed maiden and a holy knight, but I get way more maiden from her design than I get knight. And Fleur-de-Lis is a little more knightly with the armored gauntlet but she's still kind of naked. I wish we had a more knightly aesthetic for her, as a skin or something. But yeah, that's my only gripe with her. I also want to say I love the fact that her transformation is not restrictive. We don't have many transformation characters in the game yet, but Calcharo is one of them. His transformation is really strict though. He does transform in his ultimate, but it's a timed transformation, meaning it only lasts for 30 seconds or something like that. It's not a very long transformation. Karthathia is different though. Her transformation is pretty much infinite. The only time you transform back is if you use the enhanced ultimate or if you choose to transform back. I think games should prioritize freedom and fun over trying to restrict or quote unquote balance the player, you know what I'm saying? Her kit design is also very fluid. Once you learn her rotation and a smooth way to keep all three of her sword buffs active, she feels like a dream to play. They did a 10 out of 10 job with Karthathia. This update also introduced two new bosses, the Nightmare Kelpie and the Lioness of Glory, and I've gotta say, both fights are really well done. Kelpie seems to be a glacial variant of the Tempest Memphis, but with all new moves and combat mechanics. In fact, around difficulty 6, you actually fight 3 Kelpies at once, and it can get a little crazy. An overall good fight with decent mechanics, and while I haven't finished the difficulty 6 fight yet, because it's hard, I can confidently say it's a phenomenal fight. The Lioness of Glory is also a fun fight, but I can't judge it too thoroughly because it isn't a hologram, so we don't have her full potential yet. But I will say her animations and whatnot are all really cool. I'm essentially gonna reserve my judgment on her kit in full for when she gets a hologram fight, because that's when Boss's true potentials are shown. That's going to be my overall look at the 2.4 update. A really strong update, honestly. Everything was in order, and I'm honestly just interested to see how long they can keep this hot streak up. They've been killing it every update since 2.0. So yeah, I'm going to go farm up for Augusta now. I'll see you later. Is what I would say if I wasn't made aware of the technical issues. Now, the reason it wasn't brought up until now is because I had no idea there were performance issues until when I'm like recording this. I've already scripted it, I'm editing it and everything. And I just saw an upload from, I forgot who it was, but another content creator had uploaded talking about performance. And then I started seeing a bunch of content creators talking about performance. And then I started seeing a bunch of Instagram posts and Reddit posts about it. And obviously performance is a problem for a lot of people now. Now, I didn't experience any of the performance issues, so I wasn't really aware of them. And I can't really go into detail if I didn't go through it myself, but obviously that's an L on Kuro's part, right? Like, the game should work at the end of the day. I don't care how pretty you make it. I don't care how many features you add to it. I don't care how amazing it is. None of that matters if you can't play the game. So obviously performance being shitty for a lot of people is an L. I just want to address that really quickly in case people thought I forgot or didn't know or some shit. But yeah, that's it. All right, I'm leaving. Bye for real this time.